Thanks for staying with us. Now, peace is the lifeline of every society. Therefore, the imperativeness of peace to nation building, particularly in Nigeria, is essential. Joining us this morning is Barrister Nnadume Ofokanti. He's a legal practitioner and he's here to discuss the imperativeness of peace to nation building. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning for having me, Uche and Lillian.
Good morning.
Good morning to two of you this morning.
Yes, thank you for coming. Now, looking at peace, how would you define or describe peace in the context of nation building? And where would you say that Nigeria stands in all of this?
Well, you see, when you talk of peace, in the context of our nation, Nigeria, we look at peace from two perspectives. That is international peace and national peace. But I wanted us, because of time factor, to concentrate more today on our national peace, not international. Because very many international peace agreements we have entered, we have actually observed them in the right direction. The only ones we don't observe in the right direction is our own national peace. Nigeria, a country as heterogeneous, culturally heterogeneous as Nigeria, there's never a time you have a kind of tranquility that will match and please everybody. It is basic. But then there are times also you have issues that are unprovoked and they start creating problems. Those ones that are unprovoked and whereby somebody creates problem. That is the areas I would say people need not talk of peace, but how to suppress them. But there are areas that are provoked and people do clamor for change or thereabout the status quo. Like, there was a time you have the Sunday Igboho agitation in the southwest for an Oduduwa Republic. And then there is this IPOB agitation also in the southeast for the state of Biafra, for the country of Biafra. And then there is also this agitation in the north that clamors for Arewa Republic. I found out that it is because of the strange marriage called Nigeria that has given rise to all those agitations. Now, such agitations, you can look for peace. If you want national stability, you can call them to a round table. What do you want? We want to be one country. We want to be Nigeria because the bigger we are, the better for us. You give the reason why it should be one country. They will now tell you why they are agitating to have their own separate country. If it is marginalization, you will now tell them, tell me the areas of marginalization. Let me now fill it up. If you are marginalizing them in employment, infrastructure, they say it open. And then you, the government of the day, try to placate them by going to address those critical areas which they have complained about. That is a kind of national peace that is required. But when somebody, unprovoked, takes up gun and starts shooting an entire village in the name of banditry or terrorism, you don't negotiate with such people because they have no basis for the kind of crime they are committing. Because if you call them, somebody who takes up gun, gets into a village, massacres about 100 people, and you call him for peace, what nature of peace are you making with such a person? Now, somebody who now takes up a flag and says, I want to have my own republic, but you say, please don't have your republic, let us still be in one republic. This is the kind of person you need. But now, the situation in Nigeria is that those areas we should make peace are the ones who don't make peace. Why those areas we should not make peace are the areas we go to make peace? You people saw what happened in Zamfara just last week. It was a national shame. It was an national embarrassment. You see terrorists, known terrorists that have been declared even number 1, number 2, number 3 in the list of wanted terrorists in Nigeria. They came to a peace meeting with government officials dressed in military camouflage, carrying guns, carrying ammunition, and then addressed a press conference threatening people that if they ever attack their camp, that they will finish the remaining villages. Anyway, for a start, let them just show them that out for peace, they will release about 40 people from the number they are holding in a certain village. You could imagine that kind of insult to the national psyche. And now, Nnamdi Kanu, for instance, who says he won the state of Biafra, he went and renditioned him from Kenya and dumped him in prison. Now, somebody who have taken up arms against your people, massacring your people, front, left, and center, you now went to do peace with them. And then we talk about national peace as a panacea for national development. What type of peace are you doing with some people? And again, they don't even stop there. During the past regime of Buhari, we have reasons to believe, not reasons, they are very on the public domain. People who have been captured as terrorists by our soldiers, you now wear them good uniforms, say you give them training, wear them white, buy them bags of rice, and then reintegrate them into the Nigerian army. Man, you talk of peace. In fact, the thing is that Nigeria doesn't want to discuss peace. That's what I have just seen. In fact, the APC government doesn't want to discuss peace. Because if you can recall, during the run-up to the 2023 election, one radio host in the north was asking Peter Obi, what are you going to do about the IPOP agitation? He says, no agitation. As far as he's concerned, we will bring everybody to the table. If you are agitating for anything, come, let us know why you are agitating. He said, what about Boko Haram? He said, Boko Haram has a genuine reason to say that Boko Haram. You bring them to the table and see them there and talk with them and then know why they are saying Boko Haram. That's no war since the war started. No war has ever ended on the battlefield. First World War started when people sat down at the table and said they are going to war. They went to war. When they fight the war and get tired, they came back to the table and said, we are going to stop. So every war will start on the table and end on the table. Nigerian Biafra war started on the table when they could not agree. In Aburi, they went to Aburi. They agreed anyway. Only that they came back, one doesn't want to implement what they agreed on. And that was what led to Jukudan saying, because of the massacre of my people in the north, I will declare the state of the nation of Biafra. So when the war wanted to end, the instrument of surrender was handed over in a table somewhere in Newu local government, a town called Amich. So they went there, Philip Effiong, before they now moved to Lagos to hand over to Gowon, sitting down stay in his office. So remember, the people who fought the war are in the battlefield, but the people who surrendered came to the table. So that's why I said, negotiation for national peace is very important. But the problem is that the people who are supposed to be talked to achieve that national peace are the wrong people. You now went to negotiate with people, bandits and terrorists. Leave people who are agitating that they want to have their own independent country. These are the people you are supposed to talk to ordinarily. So that's the way I look at it.
All right. So Peter Obi once said that Tinubu or say federal government should declare state of emergency in all those states that are affected by insecurity. Correct. But then Nigeria has resorted to, declaring emergency rule on volatile states in the name of, trying to find peace. For instance, Rivers State, you know what happened in Rivers State. So where do we draw the line between safeguarding, national security and violating the Constitution? What is the problem? Why are they not taking the bull by its horn, doing it here?
You see, these things are interrelated. When I was talking about misplacement of priorities in terms of peace deal, the federal government always misplaced their priority. Since Buhari came in, the only government that even placed the priority right was Yaradua. When the Niger Delta was boiling, they were blowing up pipelines, saying that the oil will no more come in. And Obasanjo, who used force then in OD, to muzzle up, protest about, and those people who are analyzing majority of the pipelines, they came and said, no, I won't use, because people have genuine complaints. Like I said, you must have a genuine complaint for people to talk to you. They then called them to a round table. Why are you blowing oil pipelines? They said, we produce the wealth of the nation, but our zone is far neglected. there is environmental degradation, oil spill, we don't even have fishing farms again. You know, the whole, how many of you have been to Bayelsa? The whole of Bayelsa is almost covered by water. You will drive from here to 9th Mile, you see a little island. You drive from 9th Mile, maybe to Onitsha, you see another small island. So they are scattered in islands. But once oil spills and spills into the water, all the aquatic animals, they get killed. So they said, you have been degrading our environment. Our environment is not more safe for us to farm. We can't fish, we can't farm. And Yaradua said, okay, we will look at it, we'll address it and make sure that the oil companies don't use dilapidated equipment. Please, we also like the youths who are there. We want to give them what you call youth amnesty. They gave amnesty. I sent some of them to schools overseas. That now came down drastically. It came down drastically. And oil, how do you know that it came down? Oil output increased. Because once there is no more vandalization, oil output increased. Now, that was a required piece. Now, like you said, P2P talked about state of emergency in the very many of the states overtaken by insurgency. Anywhere is about 17 local governments. But even with the IPOB agitation, there's no local government in Enugu state that is overtaken by IPOB. Imo is about the same number of local government, a little more. There are no local government in Imo state that is being overtaken by IPOB agitation. The same thing with Abia, the same thing with their boy. But in the north, Yobe, if Yobe is about 17 local government, then go and check the index, Google it. You will see that half of the local governments have been overtaken by insurgents. Borno, the same thing. Katsina, the same thing. Zamfara, just name it. Majority of the outlandish local governments in those areas have been overtaken by insurgents. And very many of the local governments in the north are just, the glorified homes or communities. They call them local government because, you know, the military that have ruled Nigeria for quite a long time, apart from Obasanjo's interrogation, the rest has been not. They just sit down and churn out a decree. And once they churn out the decree does what? Decrees a local government. And they might put a little house there. Once they get the allocation from Abuja, they just come there and share the allocation, and that's all. So that was why it was easy for the, what do you call them? The insurgents to penetrate those local governments and take them over. So if they declare a state of emergency, they will compete. But they don't want to do that. Rather, they want to please Nyesom Wike, who has been clamoring to become the Lord Manor of Rivers politics. That is what Tinubu did. Tinubu declared state of emergency in Rivers State, not because there was unbearable tension that could not be resolved by the state, but they wanted to please Nyesom Wike. If I might give you some little down memory lane, because before the emergency was declared, the crisis between the House of Assembly and the governor was raging. The governor will bring this house, will reject it, because the greater number of Wike supporters are in the house. Now, the president called them for a meeting. They come to the meeting, and all the agreement reached was that Fubara should withdraw all the suits he filed. Just like Wike would withdraw all his own. Fubara went and withdrew his own suits. Wike refused to withdraw his own. And Wike's own went to trial. And in law, when somebody files a suit and there's no challenge, the law will deem it as that there's no challenge. I'll give you what you want. That was how they now say Wike won in court. Not that if Fubara had not withdrawn his suit, Wike ordinarily could not have won most of the cases. Fubara said, okay, now that you have even won, as Speaker has said, I'll present this budget. Let me go to the House of Assembly and present the budget. He drove to the House and they locked him out. He drove to the House of Assembly to present that budget to the greater number, according to the Supreme Court judgment. They locked the governor out, a whole governor. And why they locked the governor out, the governor was sort of frustrated. If you were in his position, court has said, present to these people. He wanted to present it. Now they locked him out. Having locked him out, Tinubu now came and declared state of emergency. The rule is that if you want to declare state of emergency, you go to the House, National Assembly, to get the proclamation first. But he declared it first before going to the nation, showing that we have also no National Assembly. Because that's what we are doing there is not the National Assembly. It's just an extension of the executive arm of government. Now, having declared the state of emergency in Rivers State, they now went to the Senate and get a posthumous ratification, rather than getting to 10 majority as required by the code. They use voice vote. If you say, like the ayes and the nays, the ayes have it. How many people said aye, how many people said nay? These are things you must have to collect the signatures one by one to ensure that you have collected 2/3 of the signatures. They didn't abide by that. Now, the whole thing that is raging in the north, people are dying. Tinubu has not considered it fit to declare state of emergency. But so they do the wrong thing at the wrong place and leave the right thing at the right place. That's the Tinubu administration. Like the APC are not even to know. Since Buhari, it has been like that to Buhari. Buhari don't even know anything. You ask him, say, I'm not aware. But Tinubu at least will own up the one he has done. So you find out that that thing that happened in River State was not only unconstitutional, because you can declare a state of emergency, but you can't remove a sitting governor. Obasanjo did it. I think with Modi Sharif in Lebanon in those days. And I think he did it also in Plateau there about some of the northern states. But he never removed the name of the governor. What is his name? Jonathan wanted to try removing governor, this current vice president now, where he was governor of Borno State, because of the same insurgency. So good luck just declared state of emergency. I wanted to talk about it, and the attorney general told him, you don't have some power. All right. So don't try it. So he then the governor and he declared the state of emergency.
All right. In a sentence before we go, can you, tell us the way forward, how we can, the people, the government, the judiciary can actually facilitate peace in nation building?
No, judiciary, I don't see, judiciary is the altar check for both executive, for both legislative and the general people of Nigeria. But this issue of peace is pure administrative. It is for the government to do the right peace talks. They know where to talk, where to go and talk peace, not what they are doing now in the north. I think Tinubu is trying to know whether he can use, pampering the north to maybe get more votes in the north, maybe towards 2027. But that is, trying to bite a finger and tell the same finger that is going to feed you. So I don't see any reason why it should not declare state of emergency where insurgents are taking over parts of Nigeria. I don't know why it cannot even use mercenaries if Nigerian soldiers are no more fit to fight insurgency, And then take a database of people who were pulled from Boko Haram and they reintegrated into our army. Check their database and remove them. Because there is no settlement with a bandit. Because bandit has no reason to kill people apart from getting money or kidnapping people and getting criminality. But somebody says, I want to have my own country. That person has a genuine reason. Now ask you, why do you want to have your own country? So what do you not ask a bandit is, why do you want to kidnap people and make money? They are making our hand, and you see, it goes on social media every day. People see them sharing the money they have collected from victims. This time now is that they have stopped targeting individuals. They now target buses, commercial buses carrying passengers. They load them into the bush and then start demanding for ransom.
All right. Thank you so much, Barrister Nnadume Ofokanti, a legal practitioner. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Lilia, for having me this morning, and Uche for having me. I think it's been a very robust morning for all of us. Yes.
All right, that is where we end it on that conversation on the imperativeness of peace to national building. Thank you so much for staying with us. And coming up next is still our signature morning gist and conversations. Do stay with us.
The way we see the world shapes the way we change it. Gender isn't just a checkbox, it's a lens. One that helps us understand the world more deeply and act more fairly. Gender Perspectives, a program for those ready to see more, do more, and be more. Designed to challenge assumptions, ignite conversations, and build inclusive solutions across every sector of society.
We are not, fighting the men. We are not saying we are equal in terms of rights. We're only asking they should recognize our existence.
Join us on Gender Perspectives, showing every Saturday by 4 p.m. Repeat every Wednesdays by 5 p.m. and Thursdays by 3 p.m. Change begins with perspective. Let's widen yours.
Get plugged into the heartbeat of entertainment on The Hub, your ultimate show on e-vibes. From trending stories and social media drama to top charting music, must-watch movies and exciting moments from the world of arts, we've got it all. Join us for unmissable conversations with your favorite entertainment personalities, plus fun segments every week.
I should try harder, so...
Okay, I don't know that one.
outfit of the day.
Oh, I don't do that.
Oh.
That's some Gen Z stuff.
Oh, now you say it's a Gen Z stuff.
It's everything you love about entertainment, served fresh every week at 1 p.m. with weekend repeats just in case you missed it. The Hubs on E-Vibes, where the vibes never stop. Only on Signature TV.
While we're still looking at peace, the imperativeness of peace to nation building, yesterday being Sunday, the 21st day of September 2025, was the International Day of Peace. Now, we join the world in marking the International Day of Peace. Each year, on September 21st, the United Nations invites us to pause, to reflect, and to act. Peace is not simply the absence of war. It is the presence of justice, equality, and respect in our communities and across our world.
Well, in a time of turbulence, tumult, and uncertainty, it is critical for everyone to take control, action, concrete action to mobilize for peace. From peacekeepers on the front lines of conflict to community members to students in classrooms around the world, everyone has a role to play. We must keep up against violence, hate, discrimination, and inequality. We must practice respect and embrace the diversity of our world.
There are many ways to act right now. Spark conversations about the urgent need for understanding, non-violence, and disarmament. Volunteer in your community. Listen to voices different from your own. Challenge discriminatory language in your workplace. Report bullying both online and offline. And take the time to verify facts before you post on social media.
Even our choices as consumers make a difference. We can support socially conscious brands or donate to organizations that promote sustainability and human rights. The role of the United Nations is leading global efforts in these areas through its Peace Building Commission, now marking its 20th anniversary in 2025. It works to tackle poverty, inequality, and injustice. All are drivers of conflict.
Through the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, it supports countries in raising health and living standards while advancing equality and justice. Through its peacekeepers, it inspires us with brave service in some of the world's most difficult and dangerous environments. And through the Pact for the Future, recently adopted, the UN is preparing for new challenges in science, technology, and innovation, while ensuring that future generations are part of the conversation.
Yes, the Act Now campaign has already helped millions of people around the globe to commit to action and track their impact. With just a mobile app, individuals everywhere can see how their small actions add to something greater. And in conclusion, all our efforts are connected, from UN-supported health clinics to youth-led advocacy to debate in parliament and in classrooms. Each of us has a role to play in building a more peaceful world. So let our actions for peace resonate louder than voice, because peace is not something we wait for, it is something we create.
Yes, and this is us saying Happy International Day of Peace to you, although it was yesterday, but we're still talking about it. It's still a conversation that we all need to,
of course,
to have. I mean, bringing it down to Nigeria, even the small things bring peace. Peace is when you have light for 12 hours straight. I don't have to start fighting with your generator.
Yeah.
Turn it on. You know, there are a lot of things when communities in the northeast can sleep without fear of insurgents, don't you think?
Yeah, well, I think you're right. Well, it also goes beyond that. Even in families, in schools, in hospitals, in your place of work, you know, instigate peace. Be the bearer of peace.
Yes. Well, like we read earlier, peace is not the absence of war. It's the presence of justice, fairness, and tolerance. And that is what we need to see more in our country, Nigeria. Well, we'll go on a break, and when we return, Signature Morning continues.
With a population of about 36 million people, the Southeast is awash with stories. Every day on Southeast News, we tell the peculiar story of the Southeast and her people.
Our Southeast should be the Silicon Valley of Nigeria.
Their successes, achievements, and daily challenges. Do you have a Southeast story to share? Community achievements and challenges, completed and uncompleted projects, bad roads, water scarcity, erosion, flooding, insecurity, or even disagreements? Bring it on to Southeast News. On Southeast News, no story is too big or too small. Southeast News. Let's tell our story. Showing on Signature TV every weekday at 4 p.m. WAT, 1600 hours GMT.